is Dr. Fauzia Farrukh. Is that right? Okay. Who is a mother of young children. And a full-time working general dental practitioner. She has actively participated in numerous mass demonstrations, as I'm sure you will already be aware. I've lost the place now. In London and locally. She was brought up in India and credits her father and teachers as significant influences in moulding her resilience and perspective on life. During her education, she served as an editor in college council, with a particular focus on political poetry. She has played a significant role in the Sunday rallies, again as we're all aware, making powerful contributions that condemn the Zionist genocide and advocate for a humanitarian approach to the crisis. Thank you very much.
Thank you, everybody. I'm used to doing excellent roles, but today I thought I need a bit more flow and a bit more analyzed thoughts. So I'm just going to be reading out the speech I've penned down this morning. And I've also been requested to say my poem, so I will be reading that out too. So, the tragedy unfolding in Palestine has brought us to a unique point in our lives. Irrespective of our age, we are all exposed to the savage atrocities being committed against Palestinians. I say unique because our information, authentic information, is no longer hostage to traditional media outlets. This means that, like us, children too have access to global events and alternative sources on popular apps. Recent months have seen a public outcry building up, which our children are witnessing. They're bound to find out, especially when horrific scenes, gory news, and passionate conversations go around them, sometimes in the household, sometimes at school, cafeteria, buses, you name it. No space is isolated in this digital era. It is very naive to think that we can just keep children in a bubble where they won't be affected. I think it is very wise to discuss with children and young people the ugly topic of genocide ourselves, rather than them being influenced by the propaganda. For me, despite living on this planet for so many years, I won't tell you exactly how many, and hearing about various genocides over the years, especially for me, it was Bosnian and those of Rohingyas, I never felt so affected in any conflict as much as I am today with that of Palestine, because it is the first genocide to be effectively line-streamed. At this point, I'll read my poem that I have penned down because I felt the urge to pen it down. It was like an absolute must. I have titled it as I Feel Less Human. As I caress my little child's face, as I watch her move with precise gaze, as I shower her with gentle praise, I feel less human. As I stroll with carefree leisure, as I hold old photos I treasure, as I slumber in bed with pleasure, I feel less human. As I set the table and aromas burst, as I open my flask to quench my thirst, as each rich flavor hits my palate first, I feel less human. As under the rubble, voices fade, as faces deform and limbs amputate, as orphaned eyes question their fate, as scarce food becomes a savage bait, as many dreams shatter and obliterate, as screens fill with cries and news update, as the Holy Land they annihilate, as my heart still beats at a normal rate, I feel less human. affected me so much. It has been a tremendous journey for me as an adult, and I cannot begin to imagine the impact it may have on our children. In my research of how to make children aware, the first and foremost step is to inquire about the amount of information the children have. So first things first, one has to assess how much do they know about what is going on, when, where, and who has brought up the subject is also important, as it will help gauge your approach of delivering information to the kids or young people. Take cues from your child to decide how much information to share at one time. Age will play a major role in the extent and language of discussion. For a child of less than 6 years, seeing the coverage can feel that the conflict is happening right outside their doorstep. They might not understand why a neighbour would harm another, why there is hatred amongst people. We should be very calm and limit the details of events happening. I think drawing a parallel to bullying will be a fair start. It confirms that what is happening is definitely a matter of grave concern and that it cannot be ignored. Some action needs to be taken by all of us to counter such aggression. Children between 6 and 13 years of age are way smarter now. They assimilate information from each and every source they come across actively. They will try to form opinions and jump to conclusions straight away. For them, issues are black or white and no grey zone exists. Many of these opinions could be based on a short YouTube video they might have come across, or little snippets of conversation they might have overheard their parents talk about. Children at or above 14 years of age might have more information and may already be impacted heavily by what has been happening around the world. Or they might have blocked that kind of information and might have chosen to stay out of the messy news altogether. Give them space. I cannot emphasize how important it is to start at a neutral point. The journey of learning more about the people, their culture, their festivals, their food is an important step towards humanizing it all. It is important to project all sides involved as humans. It is also important to inform about the geographical location and ultimately introduce the geopolitics involved in it. There are great authentic videos on internet one can watch together, which could help us understand as we watch along with our children. It is important that we get their feedback and their take on the happenings around the world. We should comfort them, reassure them, and find out their cause of anxiety, if any. There is possibility that children may be experiencing discrimination or bullying at school for belonging to a particular faith or religion. Sometimes they do not want to add anything to the conversation. Do not interpret it as indifference. They could be feeling quite overwhelmed, or there could be a silent rage building up in them. It is important thus to communicate in a way towards a constructive goal, to develop compassion, to rise above hatred, to reach out to help neighbours, the poor, the oppressed. Some positive activities could be to, first of all, attending peaceful protests together. It is comforting to see tens of thousands of people coming together for a cause. Then second is going to fundraising events which are child-friendly and allow children to contribute. Recently, my brother shared that he went to a Swan charity iftar event and was really surprised when even his 10-year-old contributed a £50 towards relief measures for Palestine. First of all, he was thinking, she has money. And then as she clarified that it was gifted by her nan, he allowed her to go ahead with the donation. And another thing that we all can do is pray together. In fact, lead the du'as or prayers calling for God's mercy to end the sufferings of people and to guide the oppressors into stopping their atrocities and repenting their sins. Pray to guide us, being steadfast and being instrumental in helping the needy. Again, taking part in festivals, celebrating the culture of these people, keeping them as priority in our thoughts and actions is definitely going to help. And making lifestyle choices, consumer choices, travel choices, all converging to remove financial support to the tools of oppression are definitely going to work. Being consistent for all groups of people, to not build prejudice against anyone based on skin color, belief, or religion is of utmost importance in this whole journey. For many of our children, the Gaza crisis is their first real exposure to occupation and apartheid. This is an opportunity to combine the forces of present and future, to arm them with authentic information, to give them the ability to shape their moral compass and to logically come to a conclusion that we all, as individuals, need to work in our personal spaces for this cause, for the cause of humanity. We need to wake up their consciousness to enable the change, to ultimately end the occupation, to directly impact the lives of Palestinians by combating the lies by Israel. I've held a poem very close to my heart, and it definitely has a message for the adults or parents or guardians. This is a small extract from Rudyard Kipling's If. If you can keep your head held when all about you are losing theirs and blaming it on you. If you can trust yourself when all men doubt you, but make allowance for their doubting too. If you can wait and not be tired by waiting, or being lied about, don't deal in lies, or being hated, don't give way to hating, and yet don't look too good nor talk too wise. This poem taught me about the importance of reflection, of directing your moral compass, and to stand with conviction in your values. I would finally like to end with a very hopeful tenet of Islam. You are only accountable to your efforts and intentions and not to the outcome. It is your input and not the outcome that you will be judged by. Thank you, everyone.